Hey friends, it's Buffaque here again, coming to you tonight with a review of the two smallest knives that I have in the Spyderco collection. And to be honest with you, these aren't even actually my knives. These belong to my wife. And she's been asking me lately if I was going to do a video on these, and I thought, yeah, these are a interesting part of the collection, so I need to get on that. What we have here are the Spyderco Ladybugs. If you guys aren't aware of these already, basically this is Spyderco's version of a keychain knife. They do make some knives even smaller than this, but as far as our own collection, this is the smallest we have from Spyderco. To be honest with you, these are a good example of quality craftsmanship, good quality control within your entire range of products, okay, within a company. So what I mean is it would be really easy for Spyderco to give great detail to their bigger knives, their bigger, folding knives, even their fixed blades, and maybe let some of their smaller knives, such as these keychain knives, kind of suffer or lack a little bit in the quality control department, and that is absolutely not the case. Another reason that Spyderco continues to be my personal favorite knife manufacturer. Some quick details on what we have here. These are basically just two different variants of the same knife. They're both Ladybugs. The top one here is in a VG10 steel with a hollow ground blade. Okay, even as small as that is, you can still see pretty clearly that that is a hollow ground blade. The one below it here is in HAP 40 steel, and it's a full flat grind. Okay, so this is a lot closer to like my my Enduras. The Enduras I have are all in the full flat grind, and then my Pacific Salt that I have is in a hollow grind. It just depends on what you like. It depends on what you're looking for in a blade. Some can argue that the hollow grind might offer a little bit more toughness, with a slightly thicker spine, and then others could also argue that the full flat grind is going to slice and cut better. Okay, to give you kind of a comparison, and these are two very small blades, but I think I can get this on camera here. Yeah, there you go. You can see that, of course, the hollow ground blade is a good bit thicker, okay, but you also have to think, well, when it comes to slicing, what do you want? Do you want a thicker blade or do you want a thinner blade? And most of us would agree you want a thinner blade to slice quicker, but it depends on what you're doing. If you're doing something that's a little more aggressive, you may be more interested in a blade that's a little bit thicker. My wife essentially couldn't make up her mind, so she ended up getting one of each. And this is one of those things that, we all know that between husband and wife or whatever have you, that you could argue all day about money. This is one thing that my wife and I don't argue much about. Anytime she goes over to the Spyderco cabinet, she pretty much knows that she can get away with murder. There's not much that I'll say no to. So again, these are two knives that we're definitely proud to have in the collection. Something interesting about these knives, they are standard lockback blades. Okay, they are a locking knife. As small as they are, you can still deploy them in a traditional manner. Okay, the Spidey hole does work. One reason I put lanyards on these knives, a lot of you guys know I don't care for pocket clips, and the Ladybug doesn't come with a pocket clip at any rate, but the lanyards on these I find really helpful to get your pinky around that lanyard, especially when you're deploying the knife. With the shape of my hand, with the size of my hand, I have to wrap that pinky around that lanyard in order to flip that blade open. Okay, if I don't have a lanyard there, I can't really deploy it in a traditional way. I mean, I sort of can, but I can't do it as quickly, and it doesn't feel as secure. With that lanyard on there, basically I have something else to grab onto. It's kind of an extension of the knife and helps me flip it open easy. Now, obviously, this is not a blade that you're going to carry with the intention of it being a means of self-defense for you. Of course, we usually carry our knives as a means of having the tool should we need it, and hope we never have to use it in a self-defense capacity. But if we do, at least we have that option. Well, with these, you're very limited when it comes to self-defense, but you could do worse. You could do worse. I mean, we're talking about some exceptionally sharp steels here, sharp as well as strong. So you could certainly do worse. Something that I like about these knives is the length of the blade comes in at just under 2 inches. It's technically 1.938 inches long. I had to write that down to remember it, but it is less than a 2-inch blade. So as far as I'm aware, and correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I'm aware, these are knives that you could carry pretty much anywhere, at least within the United States. I know there are some places that have very strict laws when it comes to the length of your blade, but as far as I've always been able to tell, that law usually revolves around something larger than a 2-inch blade. Here you don't go beyond 2 inches. You're 1.938 inches. Okay, so as far as I'm aware, if you wanted to carry something like this in a place that has really strict knife laws, I think you would be okay to do that. Don't quote me on that, it could be wrong. If you know of a place that still wouldn't work within the U.S., please let me know. Now, I can't say outside of U.S. borders, what the laws would look like. I would imagine that you would still be safe because you're still coming in under 2 inches. But I know some countries have really strict laws when it comes to whether it's a locking or non-locking knife, and these are, of course, locking blades. Not too much else to tell you about these knives, guys. They're exceptionally sharp, just like everything else from Spyderco. Has nothing to do with the shape, or I'm sorry, the size of the blade. This VG10 is going to be just as sharp as your VG10 on your Enduras, and the same with the HAP 40. Okay. So if you've ever seen these at your local knife shop or whatever, and you've kind of thought, well, I don't know, that's really too small to be of any good application, you might want to think again. This is a handy thing to have, whether it's on a keychain. I know my wife has carried hers a couple of different ways. I think she's had it on a keychain, also had it down in her purse, and I think several times she's just carried it down in her pocket. And like I said, you would hope you never have to use a edged weapon in any kind of a self-defense capacity, but should the need arise, I'd certainly rather have one of these in my pocket than nothing at all. Okay, let me know what you guys think. Hope you enjoyed this video. I know these are kind of a little different from what I normally do, but it's interesting to see something this small occasionally. It kind of goes along with my philosophy in terms of concealed carry. I do prefer to carry smaller firearms, things that range from 22 up to 380, so I guess this kind of matches my preference in terms of concealed carry. But again, something different. Hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you're aware of any other knife laws, something I may have got wrong, or if you already have one of these knives, let me know what you think of it, how long you've had it, and what capacity you've carried it. Until then, I'll talk to you guys next time.